Hey guys, thanks for joining me. This is Jason from Outdoor Adventures, and today we are going to look at the MSR WhisperLite system. I purchased this in March of this year, and I've used it for about 9 months now. I've used it on all my outdoor adventures, any kind of day trips, backpacking trips, camping trips. Pretty much this is my go-to stove. This runs about $80. I think right now it's on Amazon for $73, but price usually fluctuates, so check out camelcamelcamel.com. And you can see the price history. If you're looking at a WhisperLite stove, please be advised that the stove does not come with a fuel bottle. These are purchased separately. Now, my recommendation to figure out what kind of fuel bottle you need is ask yourself, are you going to be actually cooking on this stove, or do you want to just, boil water for some dehydrated meals, oatmeal, rice, that sort of thing? If you doing like weekend trips and you're just, basically boiling water, I'd recommend the 11-ounce bottle. If you're going to be cooking for multiple people over a weekend or over several days, then I'd recommend a 20, or they also have a 30-ounce bottle. I actually brought the 20-ounce bottle on my week-long trip through the Laurel Highlands, and I ended up only using about 9 to 10 ounces. I could have gotten away with the 11-ounce bottle, but it was nice to know that if I did use 11 ounces, I still had 9 ounces to back me up. So ask yourself those questions and decide accordingly. The MSR WhisperLite stove and everything that comes with it, minus the fuel bottle, weighs in at 15.3 ounces, 15.4 ounces. An empty 11-ounce bottle weighs approximately 4.1 ounces, and an empty 20-ounce bottle weighs approximately 5.9 ounces. Now, when you get the stove, it comes with it comes with a storage bag just to keep everything organized. It comes with a windscreen. I don't really like this. It's just a very thick piece of aluminum foil, and I think it would just be, it's really bulky, and I think it would just, deteriorate over time. So I actually don't end up bringing this. I end up bringing this. This is a folding windscreen you can find on Amazon for about $8, and this has been really good for me. This weighs a couple ounces more than this, but I think this will last a lot longer, and it's more compact, and it doesn't make a lot of noise whenever you move it around too. So you get, like I said, you get the windscreen, you get a heat reflector that you put underneath the stove. I don't really use this either. I don't see a point for this. Today I'm going to use it just so I don't burn my table up. You get a field repair kit. I usually don't bring this with me. I just kind of leave it at home unless it's on a longer trip. You get the fuel pump. And you obviously get the MSR WhisperLite stove. Setting the WhisperLite up is fairly simple and straightforward. I'm going to use the heat reflector, even though I don't use this in the field. We're going to use it just to kind of protect the table a little bit. There's notches in here for the legs. They just kind of clip into the notches real easy. Set this down. We're going to use our 11-ounce fuel bottle today to demonstrate. We're going to leave the 20-ounce down here. I have measured out exactly 11 ounces of white gas. This is Coleman Camp Fuel. This is what I use. I'd say in 9 months with this stove, I've only used a little over 3/4, or a little over a quarter of the stove. So I have over half of my fuel still used. You can find this stuff up at Walmart or Gander Mountain. You can find anywhere from $12 to $20. So let's pour 11 ounces of fuel into our bottle. Okay, get rid of this. Then you insert your fuel pump. Now you just want to hand tighten it. You don't want to crank this down, because once it's pressurized, this is very, very hard to get this back out of the bottle. I learned that the hard way. I actually had to use a pair of pliers to get this back out. Now, MSR recommends that you lubricate this fuel line, and they have a couple ways to do it. You can either do it with the lubricant that they give you, or you could just simply spit on it, and I'll spare you the grossness of that. Once you've lubricated the line, you're going to want to make sure that this is on the outside, or else you're going to have a heck of a time putting the bottle on. You just clip the bottle in, and then lock it, and then you can bend this however you need to, just to keep it flat. Now, after this, you pressurize your bottle. For a full bottle, you're going to want to do it 10 to 15 times. For, a half empty bottle, you're going to want to do it anywhere from 20 to 25. Okay. Now, a lot of people seem to have a problem lighting the stove. I'm not sure why. It does take, I guess, a little bit to get used to how much fuel you need in this cup down here. But the way this works is fuel is going to come out of the bottle into the line in liquid form and collect in this cup. Then you're going to light it, and the flame is going to heat this coil to the point where the fuel is going to come into this line and start evaporating up, causing a stove burning effect. It's going to give you a nice hot blue flame. What I do is I turn this knob until I start to hear fuel, and then I immediately turn it off. So watch this real close. I hear the fuel, and I'm turning it off. Now there is the delay whenever you move this knob, because it has to go through this line and it's pressurized. So now we have a nice small amount of fuel in this cup, and we're going to simply light it, and you're going to see the flame is going to start down here, and as it gets hotter it's going to go up to here. Now what I do is I just let this get hot. I let it burn out. I keep my eye on it. The second it burns out, I turn this on, and I'm going to light it again, and I'll show you that after this warms up. It takes a couple minutes. It's really not that long. Obviously a butane stove will be a little faster, but this actually, for the price, this is less expensive, and you don't have to carry a canister around and worry about throwing it out in the field. So you can see the fuel is actually getting hotter, and it's moving its way up into the stove portion, from the cup up to the stove. You're not going to want to burn this stove in an enclosed space such as a tent or in a small room. I'm in a wide open space right now, and the reason is this is odorless gas. It's carbon monoxide, so you got to be careful with it. Okay, so I can actually hear the white gas starting to evaporate, and you're starting to see a nice blue flame. At this point, you can turn the gas on a little bit, and you can see it's now changed to a nice hot blue flame. Now you can do it the way I just showed you. You can also do it this way. You can let the stove get hot and let it completely go out, turn the gas on a little bit, and then light it. And you can do it that way. If you follow the steps I just showed you, you'll have a perfect flame every single time. Okay, now we're going to do a boil test, and we'll set up a timer for this. Now here I have about 14 ounces of water. This is your typical standard Mountain House dehydrated meal water recommendation. We're going to pour it into our pot here. Now this is about room temperature. I'd say it's about 60 degrees maybe. Okay, so now we're going to turn our stove all the way up, get this thing nice and hot, and we are going to put our stove on, and we're going to do our stopwatch. And you can see we're starting to boil now. It's about 3 minutes and 13 seconds. And now we are at a rolling boil. So 3 minutes and 20 seconds for a rolling boil for 14 ounces of water. Now, the stove takes about 10 to 15 minutes to cool down completely before you can actually put it back in the bag, depending on how long you're cooking. I've used this personally for boiling water for dehydrated meals. I've cooked oatmeal. I've cooked bacon. I've heated up stuff for coffee. I've made eggs in here, and I really like it. It's a really good stove. So I only have 2 complaints about this stove, and they're very, very minor. First of all, my cup, which is a Toaks 450 milliliter, does not fit on this stove. So what I have to do is I have to use this and then pour the boiling water in here for like coffee in the morning or whatever I want to do, or heat up hot cocoa or whatever. So that's one complaint. The other complaint is that when you take it off to put the stove away, there's still going to be a little bit of fuel left in the line. So if you try to put this back in the bag, it's going to leak a little bit. Not enough to really complain about, just be aware of that. So to combat that, you have to basically turn it upside down and kind of just, jiggle it inside of your fuel bottle, and that'll solve the issue. Also, you can just, give it some centrifugal force and, do it that way. That's what I do. And other than that, I really have no complaints. This is a great stove. It's a little pricey maybe, but like I said, in the long run, this is the way to go in my opinion, compared to canister stoves. I guess also another positive about this is with canister stoves, they sometimes act up in colder weather. This will not act up. That's another good feature about this stove. Other than that, guys, great stove, a little pricey, but it will pay off in the future. Thanks for watching. This is Jason from Outdoor Adventures, and I hope this helps someone. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or message me on Facebook. Thanks, guys.